Hello guys, so welcome back to the channel. My name is Abatan Sheriffdeen and welcome back to Excel Ireland live stream. On this channel, basically what I'm doing is that I am live streaming my learning journey to upskill myself as a data analyst using the resources on the Datacamp platform. Currently, I'm a top-rated plus freelance data analyst on the Upwork platform. So I decided to go on a learning journey to upskill myself in SQL, Power BI, Python, and as well as Excel, because basically I use Excel to work every day as a freelance data analyst. So far so good. Today is day 86 of my learning journey on the Datacamp platform. So in between, and I am on the last course in the career track data analysis in SQL. So this is the last course, data communication concepts in this career track. And after this last course, the goal is to build a lot of portfolios in SQL, then move to the data analyst in Power BI on same platform. So let me show you what the career track looks like. So these are the career tracks on the Datacamp platform. As you can see, this is the data analyst in SQL career track, and I am 96% through the whole career track. So it just remaining a couple of lessons to complete the whole career track. Then after that, I'll be moving to the data analyst in Power BI. Where is it? There's a data analyst in Python. I'll also be live streaming this learning journey of the data analyst in Python. So you definitely want to subscribe to the channel right now and put on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when I start live streaming the data analyst in Python also. But before the data analyst in Python, the goal is to start the data analyst in Power BI. And I think I've missed, okay, this is it, the data analyst in Power BI career track also. So that is my next goal after completing and finishing this data analyst in SQL career track. So I click on the data analyst in SQL career track. You can see prepare for certification. There's also the certification part. I'll show you what that looks like later. It says Satisfied Data Analyst Associate. Datacamp certification takes the skills employers are looking for so you can prove you are up to the task. You can prepare for certification in 2 days. You can see, return to track. I'll come back to this later. So there's the date. Let me go back to the certification platform. I've been preparing to do that also. So this is the Data Analyst Associate Certification by Datacamp. There's the Data Analyst uh, Associate Professional Certification. Okay, the professional certification is there. Data Analyst Professional Certification. Then there's the Data Analyst Associate. I'll read about that later though. But if I go back here to the career track, yeah, so this is it. So this career track actually contains 11 courses estimated for 39 hours and one project. And amazingly, I am on the last course, which is the 11th course. Then we move to the projects. I'll also be live streaming solving this project. I think it is a guided project. So I'll also be live streaming that learning journey also. Then the statement of accomplishments. Then I move to their certification and definitely build a lot of portfolios and write Medium article about them. And also put the queries probably in my GitHub account. I haven't figured that out yet, but let's complete the data and let's do a couple of lessons today and see if I can finish this last part of the course in this live stream, hopefully. If I click on data communication concepts, let's see what it looks like. I think I am on the third chapter. Yeah, I'm on the third chapter. So before I continue the learning journey, so the goal is to learn for 45 minutes, 1 hour on each live stream. So as I said earlier, I am a top rated plus freelance data analyst on the Upwork platform. So I've had major success on the platform, and that is due to the influence of a coach, someone who has actually been guiding me through the freelancing business. So his name is Ben Gadebi, and he currently has a course right now called the Freelance Client Magnet course. And what this course does is that it also teaches you how to become a successful freelancer and run your own successful freelancing business. So I'll leave a link to the course under the YouTube description. Do make sure to check it out. You can also check out BengaDB on Twitter. Let me show you what BengaDB looks like on Twitter. I'll also leave a link to his Twitter account here. I search for BengaDB. This is him. You can see he's a highly rated freelance coach. He has over 21k followers and a lot of testimonials. You can check out his print tweets. Definitely, you are buying the best course out there when it comes to freelancing and coaching in the freelancing business. Do make sure to check out the course. I'll leave a link to the course in the YouTube description. So back to my learning journey. So let's continue from here. I'm on the chapter 3 of this last course here. So I'll just take a couple of lessons today and finish the whole career track. It's so amazing doing this for the last 86 days.
Now we know how to make our work reproducible. In order to make an impact at the decision level, other stakeholders should validate our work. So our reports must not only be reproducible, but also clear and intelligible. In data science, writing should be concise and precise to avoid misleadings and confusion. Stakeholders should understand our message. In our reports, there is no place for sentences that add no information or introduce potential misunderstandings. Let's explore some options to help us with this task. Empty phrases basically don't add meaning or information. They are phrases such as, it's interesting to note that, the fact that, it should be pointed out that, it is well known that, or it is obvious that. Empty phrases are distracting and should be avoided. Be straightforward and to the point. Here, both sentences convey the same message, but the first one is straight and to the point, while the second one is harder to follow. Basically, if it doesn't add information, remove it. Good technical writing is concise and direct, so we should write concrete nouns and avoid the overuse of the pronouns this or that or it, as it can be unclear what exactly they refer to. Also, keeping track of what the pronouns mean adds some cognitive load and distracts the readers from the actual insights. In the sentence, this shows an accuracy of 80% when predicting customer churn. The word this should be replaced by a concrete noun and state that the model shows an accuracy of 80% when predicting customer churn. The active voice is criticized for placing the emphasis on the author instead of the facts. The passive voice is criticized for being too stuffy and harder to read. If the passive voice is preferred in an academic setting, in a business context, our message will probably land better using the active voice. When trying to emphasize an argument, it's easy to end up using redundant adjectives and adverbs. Some examples are introducing the new or done previously. In order to keep the report concise, we should eliminate these redundant adjectives or adverbs. Lastly, run-on sentences are two or more independent sentences or clauses that are connected or punctuated incorrectly, like on this slide. It's composed of two full sentences but connected by a comma. To fix these sentences, we should either make them two separate clauses or use dependent clauses by introducing words like because or so. Okay, let's make sure you can present insights in a so.
There is a correlation between delayed shipping and customer rating. The shipping delay is a cause for negative review. To make two sentences, use dependent clauses.
Okay, let's make sure you can present insights in a straightforward and intelligible fashion.
To half-empty glass. Your coworker, whom you helped with a project on price predictions in chapter 2, asks you to now read his report. He wants your feedback as the report is designed for the executive team. Particularly, you should focus on fixing any empty or fat phrases or colloquialism. Can you help him identify improvable sentences and suggest a better alternative? It says, Correctly classify the examples as improvable or intelligible versions. Okay, improvable, intelligible. So the results should be interpreted carefully, considering the real estate bubble situation. The results. What results? Okay, that's good. The project pursued the creation of a model that can predict the average house prices in the state of Colorado. I think that's intelligible. The results should be interpreted carefully through the lens of a real estate bubble situation. Mm, I can say what's results? Mean house price increase as the number of rooms increase from range 1 to 3. For more than 5 rooms, the price decreases. You can say the mean house. You didn't say the mean house. Okay. The project had the aim to create a model that can predict the average house price in the state of Colorado. Okay. Mean house prices increase as the number of rooms increases from range 1 to 3. It should be pointed out that prices decrease for more than 5 rooms. I'm selecting improvable. Let's see that. Oh, I mixed it. So the results should be interpreted carefully considering the real estate bubble situation. The results. Okay. There isn't concrete now there. The results. Yes, the result is also same thing here. To the lens. Okay. So my mistake was, let me see this. So the project had the aim to create a model that can predict the average house price in the state of Colorado. The result should be interpreted carefully considering the real estate bubble situation. Mm, that's good. Well done. When writing and communicating results, it is fundamental to avoid sentences that can be confusing for the reader and distract their attention. The project aimed to create a model. I say what projects. Okay, that's good. Interesting to know. Wrong words. Your coworker is very satisfied with your feedback. He now asks you to look at another report he wrote for technical stakeholders. You notice that the writing style is confusing and verbose. You decide to help him use more concrete nouns and to fix redundant adjectives and run on sentences. Can you classify which of the following examples are intelligible and which ones can be improved? Okay. I evaluated the classification prediction using a confusion matrix. Wow, that is kind of it needs to be improved. There are some words there. But for the technical team though, they should be cool with that. The data exploration analysis introduce features that should be incorporated into the model. That's cool. So there's a positive correlation between the number of rooms and the price. People with children are willing to pay more. That's cool. The data exploration analysis introduce new features that should be incorporated into the model. This should be improved though. It says a confusion matrix was used to evaluate the classification predictions. The matrix showed a model accuracy of 85%. Uh, there's a positive correlation between the number of rooms and the price because people with children are willing to pay more. I think one of these should be intelligible, yeah? Mm, this is cool. Ah, I'm missing the two. I, I misplaced the two for each other. So one is intelligible, the other is improvable. They're saying there's a positive correlation between the number of rooms and the price because people with children are willing to pay more. There's a positive correlation between the number of rooms and the price because people with children, okay, we could ask that why is there a positive correlation between the number of rooms and the price? And say, okay, because people with children, that's cool. Well done. Good technical writing should be direct, precise, and concise. To that aim, the right words should be selected to focus the reader's attention on the facts presented. Mm, that's cool. Case study reports.
Good job! Let's go through a small case study now. We're going to decide step by step how to write a report on credit risk case. So let's present the case. Credit risk quantifies the probability that a customer fails to meet contractual obligations, such as credit card debts or other loans. The finance team of a fictional bank, LoanMe, is interested in understanding and predicting which customer taking on a loan is more likely to default. They send us data on loan details and borrowers, including age, income, loan amount, that we use to perform data exploration and to train and evaluate a predictive model. Now it's time to show our results. We're going to communicate our findings to non-technical stakeholders, mostly to decision makers. So first, let's design a story, and especially a narrative. There was an increase in the percentage of defaulting customers over the last 5 years, so the bank became interested in predicting which customers had a high probability of default. We analyzed the data and saw that people with more unemployment periods tend to default more. The analysis also showed that people with lower income tend to default more. After training a model, we saw that it is possible to predict which people are more likely to default with an accuracy of 95%. And to confirm these results, the next step should be to run a trial on a controlled population. We have our story. Now we need to translate technical results for non-technical stakeholders. Let's define an audience persona. We report to the finance department director, who needs to decide on implementing an automated loan rejection system using our project findings. So we report the relationship between unemployment or income and loan default and forecast percentage of customer defaulting over the next months. Because we need to summarize numerical data into an aggregate, we show the median age and income for default versus non-default customers. Also, we need to show how the number of customers defaulting changes over time, so we show the percentage of change. Accordingly, we include a box plot showing age or income versus default condition, and a line plot with the percentage of change in defaulting customers over the next months. We now have all our pieces together. Let's recap. We are reporting to the financial department director because she has an important decision ahead. She is interested in our key findings and recommendations, and we should communicate the findings through email before our meeting. All of these elements lead us to select a written report to deliver our results. But should we select a summary or a final report? It's a non-technical stakeholder, so a summary report should be better. Should it be an informational or an analytical report? We are presenting not only facts, but also our analysis, so the most suitable is the analytical report. So how are we structuring the summary report? In the introduction, we first summarize the purpose of our report, we add contextual information about the reason of our project, and state our analysis question. Then in the body, we are going to describe the data and include only key findings in the results section. Lastly, we restate the questions linking it to the central insight and we add our recommendations. Now it's your turn to organize summary reports for stakeholders.
Okay, let's see that. So credit me. You're about to leave the office when you get a call from the operation director. She tells you that you need to write a report on the credit score, present to the advisory board. She explains they want to understand your analysis to help plan a strategy to pre-select customer for loans. Which of the following reports is the most suitable to write in this case? So they want to understand your analysis to help plan a strategy to pre-select customers for loans. Okay. For the operations director. Well, definitely the operations director is a non-technical stakeholder. So we are definitely writing a summary report. We are writing a summary report. Which of the following reports is the most suitable to write in this case? Possible answers. An analytical report including a heat map with correct. If I'm going for analytical reports, an analytical report including a heat map with correlation between all predictive variables, technical details about your random forest model, and final recommendation. A short report showing a bar plot with the financial risks involved if loans are given to defaulted and not defaulted customers. It says an analytical report with box plot displaying the relationship between loan and customer traits and a bar plot of most important predictors. Hmm, Operations director. It's either it is an analytical report, so I missed that. So definitely an analytical report. To correct an analytical report showing relationship between different variables is a powerful tool for data driven strategies. So the operation manager, operations director, the technical person. That's interesting. Since he oversees the operations, definitely is a technical person. Okay, that's interesting. So the second one says reports my credits. To report my credits. So your analytical report on the credit score project was a success. Your project manager was very satisfied with your work. Now it's time to write the summary report for the financial department director. Oh, okay. You want her to understand the key findings, particularly that the most important feature for predicting a loan default are income, age, and employment length. The income of the person, the age of the customer, and the employment length of the customer. Can you put it, can you put in order the sections of your summary reports? Okay, I want to rearrange this summary reports. We definitely be having the introduction first. So the introduction will contain the purpose of the report. Let's see. Uh, the data contains the loan detail about borrowers from Lome Bank. It was gathered over the last 10 years. It is possible to predict which people are more likely to default than accuracy of 95%. Is it possible to automa- automatize the loan approval to customers with a low likelihood of default? Where is the introduction? The report purpose the report pursues the feasibility of automatizing a loan approval algorithm. Okay, this is like the introduction and the purpose. So this is the purpose. So the introduction will have the purpose, then the contextual information. I'm reading that from the summary report structure in the slide. Okay, so the contextual information. The project was motivated by the increasing percentage of defaulting customers over the last 5 years. This should follow the purpose of the report, the information about the report, why are we actually performing this report, writing this report. If I have question of analysis, and say that should be, is it possible? You can say is it possible to automatize the loan approval of customers with a low likelihood of default? This feels like should be the question for analysis. So the next is the body. The data. Let's look for the data. The data contains, so this is the data. The data contains the loan details about borrowers from this bank. Okay. The result, which is the key findings. As you can see in the box plots, okay. As you can see in the box plot, the median age of defaulting customers is lower than the non-defaulting ones. Okay. We state question. Central insights. So this is the we are restating the question here. It is possible to predict which people are more likely to default with an accuracy of 95%. After presenting our key findings, then the final is the recommendation. Ooh. I think following the summary report, the report structure, you actually have a good understanding of how to summarize the report. And I think that is pretty interesting. Like you have to understand what each word is talking about. You have reached the end of the chapter 3. You now understand the best practices to write a precise and reproducible report for each audience personnel. Keep going and learn how to build a compelling oral presentation in chapter 4. I'm super excited I got that at the first trial. It was interesting though. But this is a summary report, so I need to understand how to write analytical report also. I would definitely have to check the slides later. Summary reports. Final report is also known as analytical reports. That's interesting. This is the last chapter in the course, planning an oral presentation. We are towards the end of the last chapter in the course. Let me see that real quick. I go back to the dashboard. It's just like less than an hour to go. Let's take a couple of lessons more today. We are like 28 minutes through the live stream. Looking at the time there. Let's start the chapter 4. Oh, but I have to download the slide really quick. So if I download the slide, which is about planning an oral report, planning an oral presentation, the audience, the content, the climate channel, just 76 slides. That's a lot of slides. Let's download that. Let me open that in my time. Okay, let's continue this.
Welcome to the fourth and final chapter. We now know which elements we should consider when choosing the appropriate format to deliver our results. We focused on written reports, so now let's turn our attention to oral presentation. We learned to plan and build the presentation slides to avoid common mistakes and pitfalls and to deliver the presentation effectively. Just as it is a bad idea to dive straight into writing code for a data analysis without first thinking about what we want to do, it is usually a bad idea to dive into writing slides without planning. To help structure the presentation, we should consider its purpose, who the audience is, and the message we want to get across. Let's go back to our sentiment analysis of product reviews that we summarized in a report in Chapter 3. To define the purpose of the presentation, we consider the type of presentation we are giving. Is it an informative presentation? If so, we might want to inform about the current number of negative and positive ratings and words associated with negative reviews. Are we trying to instruct our colleagues or coworkers? Then we might want to explain how the model for sentiment analysis was built. Or are we trying to persuade some stakeholders? Our purpose would then be to convince them that actions need to be taken to revert the high number of negative ratings. After understanding the purpose of our presentation, we should think about who our audience is. Are we presenting to a technical colleague, to a manager or executive team, or to the customer? But we should also consider the size of our audience. Are we presenting in a small meeting, for example, to 10 members of the financial team? Or is it a large meeting, or even a conference? For example, a meeting with 100 employees from the software development department. Or maybe we are giving a workshop, like a technical training for 30 customers' employees from their respective IT departments. Our audience will have forgotten 90% of the presentation a week after seeing it. If they only remember one thing from our presentation, what do we want it to be? We can then work backwards from that to decide what needs to be included in the presentation to get the audience there. Our opening statement should hook our audience and introduce this one thing we want the audience to walk away with. For example, negative ratings scare customers away from our website. Then, we decide on the central message. It is advisable to just use one sentence. We might convey that delayed shipping is the main cause of negative reviews, and immediate actions are needed to revert the situation. Finally, we need a closing statement that sums up the presentation and strengthens the central message. We might say that there is a decrease in sales. Negative reviews have been increasing. Delayed shipping is causing negative ratings, and actions are needed to revert the situation. Taking all these steps into account, we can think about the structure. Starting with the introduction, we should provide some background information to catch our audience's attention and give them a glimpse of the presentation content. After that, we can dive into the methods, analysis, and model outputs. Who our audience is determines how detailed this part should be. If our audience is non-technical, we might justify skipping this entirely. Finally, we conclude, referring back to the introduction, adding a call to action statement or recommendations for next steps. This structure helps keeping our audience engaged, who's likely more attentive at the beginning and end of our talk. Now it's time to outline the graphs and visuals we want to use, and to plan which sections we need, and in which order. We should have about 5 sections, and avoid having too many in general. The more sections we have, and the harder it is for our audience to maintain attention. We may want the following sections: the reason for the analysis, the exploratory analysis, the sentiment analysis itself, the conclusions, and the follow-up actions. Last but not least, how long we have to deliver our presentation impacts how we plan it. We will talk about timing again later in this chapter. For now, it's your time to plan a presentation.
So is this the plan? So you need to present your findings on software development, sector salaries for San Francisco employees, and the predictive model you used, which you work on in Chapter 2 with the executive team. You open your computer and start drafting slides, but then you recall that the course you took in communicating with data, you feel that you are missing something. So you write down the facts you remember to build a compelling oral presentation. Can you identify which of the following statements is correct? Correctly classify the statement as either true or false. You say drag the items into the correct bucket. Plan to conclude your presentation by listing all the details and limitation of your work. Open for questions concerning improvement of your work. By listing all the details. Hmm, that's true. Your conclusion should refer back to the introduction, contains call to action statements, and next steps. Hmm. Now to explain how the average private sector salary has increased in the last 5 years because it helps you catch the audience attention. I think that's true. The plan for delivering a presentation for 5 members of the executive team or the whole IT staff will be exactly the same thing. That's false. So for the executive team, you should deliver a persuasive presentation to convince them to have salary ranges that are equal to the industry average. Thinking to design a persuasive last one. List at least 5 key messages that you want to convey to the executive team. This approach helps you to determine the structure of your presentation. Let's read it again. Aha. So I'm missing. We plan to convey a presentation by listing on the details. All is wrong. So I missed something there. So only two are correct. Plan to explain how the average private sector salary has increased in the last 5 years because it helps you catch your audience attention. Hmm. Now you understand how to plan your presentation. It is very important to step towards building and delivering effective oral presentation. So this one is false. The plan for delivering a presentation for 5 members is false. To list at least 5 key messages conveyed to the executive team. This approach helps you determine the structure of a presentation. Hmm. There's always room for improvement. It says an effective plan. Well done. You identify which statements were correct. Now you know how to plan your slides and on salaries for San Francisco employees. It is time to determine which sections you will include in your presentation. Can you put in order the topics for your sections of your oral presentation? Just order the presentation section so that the first section will be on top and the last at the bottom. Okay, let's figure this out. Okay, first is the reason for the analysis. So, you can see analysis of software development salaries for different companies. Then the exploratory analysis will be employees will be leaving due to high salaries on other companies. The sentiment analysis increase in private sector salaries for the last 5 years. This should be our conclusion. Companies should offer competitive salary ranges to retain talented staffs. So this is correct. So we are just going to restructure the middle part. This is the reason for the analysis. The reason, okay. So this sounds like our reason. If we forecast salaries for the software sector for the next 5 years. Let's see. This sounds like our reason. If I'm leaving this on here, hold on, let's bring this on here. That is wrong there also. Hold up. Oh, I'm missing this too. So these two are missing here. Increase employees will leave in this to high salaries on other companies. So the reason for the analysis is that increase in private sector salaries over the last 5 years. Our exploratory analysis of software development salaries from different companies. The sentiment analysis is the forecast salaries for the software sector for the next 5 years. Then conclusion. Then follow-up action. Is the follow-up action a company should offer competitive salary ranges to retain talented staffs? This is like our follow-up action. This is our conclusion that employees will be leaving due to high salaries on other companies. This is our sentiment analysis. This is our exploratory analysis. This is the reason of our analysis. That's interesting. Mm, so I think that's interesting. I'm just taking quick screenshot there. This is planning presentation outline. Okay, let's continue. I think it's interesting to stop here today. We're almost to 78% to the live stream. But I think we only have a few more lessons to go. But I feel like stopping here today. All right, so thanks for staying to the end of the live stream. So if you found value in these lessons and on this from this channel, do support the channel by giving this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you know when next I drop a new content on the channel or whenever I go live in the next live stream. Definitely, I'll be starting the Power BI section also on the Datacamp platform. Also, the Python lessons also I'll be live streaming, learning those tools. You also want to join me to learn together and have fun. Bye for now. Don't forget to check out the freelance client magnet course if you are looking to start your own freelancing career and you enjoy working from home like I am, with the link in the YouTube description. And I'll see you in the freelancing community of Coach Benga DBE. Have a wonderful day and bye for now. Don't forget to watch other videos on the channel and I'll see you in the next video.